Hello again. In this particular lesson, what we're going to talk about are coterminal angles, coterminal measures in general. So find measures that are coterminal to 2 pi over 3 and negative 110 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And basically what coterminal means is this. I'm going to give you a drawing, and I'll start with this one, 2 pi over 3. If you looked at the last lesson, or if you're acclimated with it, you know that 2 pi over 3 is 120 degrees. So let's do that. 120 degrees, something like that. Not quite 135, 120 is right there. Draw that to show that it's going that way. There's your initial side, terminal side. Here's your vertex going counterclockwise. Coterminal angle means this. And this is what I try to explain to my students too. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they kind of shake their head and pretend, and sometimes they don't get it, and you just need a little bit more in terms of explanation. So coterminal angle is this. So I got this terminal here. What it's asking for is, give me another angle that has the same terminal. Bam! We go into O'Hare terminal. Or actually that doesn't make sense. We're going to the United terminal or the American Airlines terminal or something like that. But I'll give props to O'Hare because that's an okay airport. Anyways, I want to figure out where I have to go. So this is 120 degrees. If I want to figure out, where the same terminal is, but it's not the same degree, what I do is I say, oh, if I go full circle, if I add 360, I'll be right here. Now, it's not the same degree measure, but it's the same terminal. It's coterminal. Or, instead of adding 360 going this way, I could subtract 360 going this way. But when we work with radians, it's more difficult, and my students don't like it. I mean, if I give them this, they don't like this one. If they get this one, it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one first, because it's a little bit easier. If I want to find an angle that's coterminal with negative 110, so negative 110 would be probably right there. If I want to find something that's coterminal with it, I could subtract another 360 degrees, and I would get negative 470. Yeah, that's good. Negative 470 degrees. Now, instead of going the same way, clockwise, I could also go counterclockwise. Yeah, counterclockwise, pardon me, and figure it out. So instead of subtracting 360, I could just add 360 to it. So if I take negative 110 and I add 360, funny thing about this, and I tell my students this too, is if you give me this problem, I can't do it. But if you give me 360 minus 110, then I can do it. That's 0.52. That's 250 degrees. So your coterminal angles with negative 110 are negative 470 and 250. The trick is this though. It's not just negative 470 and 250. Instead of subtracting 360, I could subtract another 360 or another 360. I can have an infinite amount of coterminal angles because I can keep doing this in 360s, or I can keep adding 360s. And how we do that is like 360n or subtract 360n. And that's when we're actually solving equations with trig functions, which we haven't even done yet, so don't worry about that. Now if we do this one, we want to find its coterminal angle, and it's in radians, and I want to keep it in radians. Instead of adding or subtracting 360, I add or I subtract 2 pi. Now when I present this to my students, they're like, wake me up when it's over. And I say, it's over, and it's not. And I say, put your head up. We're still going to do this. So we're going to add 2 pi over 1. How do you do that? Well, it's pretty simple. Get the denominators to be the same if you're adding fractions with different denominators. So you got to multiply by 3, multiply by 3. This is 6 pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3. That's 8 pi over 3. Bam! Good. That's a coterminal angle. If I don't want to add 2 pi, let's say I want to subtract 2 pi. And we can do that too. Can't subtract that because the denominators aren't the same. Get the denominators to be the same. That's negative 6 pi plus 2 pi, that's negative 4 pi over 3. Let me just double check that. Perfect. So those are coterminal angles. Pretty cool, pretty necessary, pretty useful actually when you end up working with more difficult functions. Not functions, but graphs. But to be honest, you don't really need that because students just kind of figure out what a sine or a cosine wave looks like, so it's okay. So those are coterminal. We'll do an example of reference and then we'll see where, what the mood is after that. For right now though, have a great day. Goodbye.